Alrighty. There we go. Just need to do that check just to make sure that we're good. It's live. I know at the beginning of videos they often seems that there's a delay, but it's just to be safe to check. Alright. Well, hello everyone. Fan243 back with bi-weekly updates for XRS, so the XRS Bi-weekly update. The last time we had just completed race 2, and the first 2 races were hectic and chaotic. Now 2 weeks have also passed, and we have completed the other 2 races, just in a very different way. If you have been paying attention to our social media pages, you will have seen that we did not race race 3 on Easter weekend like we were initially intending to. We raced race 3 and 4 together this past weekend at Indianapolis and ran our first double header style event for the league. This was in all the crazy stuff that XRS has done over the years, where we've done league versus league events, we've done all-star races, we've done paint competitions, we've done all of this stuff over the years. We've never actually done a double header weekend. 2 official races on the calendar running at the same day and same night. So it was definitely unique. There were hiccups. There were many hiccups, mainly because me and Kart Racer, it started with me and Kart Racer both running late, and we already had a huge delay from when we were supposed to have the practice lobby up. And on behalf of me and Kart, we do apologize to all drivers for us running late. We do try to keep our availability, obviously, as open as we can during the times that we intend on racing. Obviously, because me or Kart needs to be there in order for the race to actually be ran. If me and Kart cannot make the race, then unless one of the moderators are willing to step up and host the lobbies, we wouldn't be able to run the races. So we had that delay. It was a shortened official practice. I know a couple guys, they already got on and they were running their official practice. So we pretty much jumped straight into qualifying for race 3, and the finishing order of race 3 would take care of qualifying for race 4. So it would just be inverse order. The third race was regular Indianapolis, okay, the regular Brickyard circuit, and then race 4 was the road course variation of Indianapolis. So that's why we also felt fitting to where, okay, we kind of can do a double header with these 2 races being scheduled back to back. The reason why we didn't move, or the reason why that we delayed race 3 to begin with, it was just at the request of the drivers. Initially we wanted to race, me and Kart and some of the mods were like, yeah, like we know it's Easter, but we kind of just want to race to get it out of the way. But a lot of the drivers, they're requesting, because it's Easter, and also the NASCAR Cup Series was running a night race that day. So for those reasons, there's like, okay, yes, most of the field is going to request to postpone, delay, and all that. We knew we were going to have pretty crappy attendance if we didn't delay. So that's why we delayed. Now, the reason why we did not delay every race going forward 1 week, it's because at the very end of this season, we scheduled it, we chose the dates for this season schedule because at the very last race, if we had gone over 1 week, me or Kart guaranteed are probably not going to be available. Me, I'm guaranteed not going to be available if we delay a whole week. Kart, he would either need to change the time of day, or he cannot guarantee to make it based off of our schedules and our availability. So that's why when we delayed it, we came up with the doubleheader event rather than delaying every race going forward 1 week. So that's the only reason why. And if at some point down the line in the schedule we do end up needing to delay another race, it will more than likely have to be another doubleheader style event. We might change it up next time, just so then we grab some lessons of what we learned this weekend. One, obviously, me or Cart needs to be there on time. So then we don't have the mess that we had to begin with, But in terms of the actual formality of it, with us being able to have the qualifying and then have the second race be the first race's inverse order, I didn't really see any issues with us doing that, nor did I hear any complaints of drivers. Drivers, if you are watching this stream or watch this later on YouTube, please let me know. If you do see a really big issue, please let me and Cart know. If you see a really big issue, we didn't after we were reviewing it and after we kind of just ran the weekend. In terms of the actual format, we didn't see an issue. The only parts that we were having issues with, Forza was messing up. The servers were messing up when we were transitioning from race 3 to 4. The whenever we loaded in, it had half the people on best lap, the other half on actual race positions. So we needed to restart the lobby for that. We had ran 6 laps of, or like 5-6 laps of the second race of race 4. Before we had realized, the lobby settings were incorrect. And the reason why is because me or Cart was not the host of race 4. The host, it lagged Cart out at the end of race 3, and it made RZX Razor the host for race 4. And since it made RZX Razor the host, we don't hold any fault to Razor for messing up the lobby settings. He did come to apologize to us after the race, and we appreciate him for that. But he's not an admin in this league. He's not a moderator in this league, so we do not hold him to that standard at all. We just had enough trust in him to try and host. And I mean, we all make mistakes there. So we are not holding anything to him or anyone else of any mistakes that were made over this weekend. So no harm, no foul on that. But going forward, if we do need to delay another race for a particular reason, whether it be a holiday or whether it be, hey, NASCAR's running the same weekend but at night, we will try to reschedule, but for a doubleheader style. I imagine the next weekend that we might run into an issue is Memorial Day weekend, but we typically... Last year I know we didn't race on Memorial Day, but the year prior we did race on Memorial Day. So, I don't know. We'll get there when we get there, and we'll see if we either need to delay Memorial Day weekend to make another doubleheader or not. That or do a shortened delay to where we move the race back an hour, but we shorten the length of the actual race. Speaking of, right now the race distances are meant to be 1 hour long if it stays green. So 1 hour in length, green flag all the way through. We have been discussing and have noticed we have been getting a good amount of cautions in our races recently. I know the rule is if we have 3 quick cautions, then we implement a interval. Me at least, I don't know about Cart. I haven't talked with him specifically on this. But me, I'm willing to hear more from drivers, thinking to where should we shorten this amount? Should we make it to where it's only 2 instances if they happen like back to back? We implement an interval, or do we still have 3 intervals within a short period of time? So, what is a short period of time, you might ask? Depending on the track, if it's a road course, I would say if there's 3 incidences in about an 8-lap span on a road course, and then ovals 3 incidences in a 10-lap span. Then at that point, that's when we implement intervals. Because the past couple races that we have ran, there has been a decent amount of cautions that happen back to back. And I just feel like we can do a better job of getting the races actually going and getting productive. So we have two solutions in my mind that I see right now. But like I said, if you're a driver, please reach out to us. Or if you have a suggestion, please reach out, because we will listen to that feedback and we will consider all feedback that we are given. We definitely listen and consider it. But there will be no guarantee that we follow it. Okay? We will always listen and we will always consider the feedback, but there's never a guarantee that we will actually follow that feedback and will automatically implement that suggestion. It's a process that we need to see it from different perspectives, what the change will actually do. We need to see from the driver's mind how will it affect all the other drivers in the race if we make that decision. How will it affect Discord in any sort of way? Will it affect the organizational standpoint, the way that we have structured our rules and the way that we enforce penalties? Will it change that aspect? And then even furthermore, us posting to social media again, how will it affect public view? Right now, public view is not that big because our league is not that big. But obviously, we do want to improve in those aspects to where we can have the capacity to be a larger league and we can have the mindset of grow, grow, grow. It's just a matter of it's just a matter of actually having a set process that we feel confident in that can get us there. We have had in the past 2 weeks many people join the server. I don't know how many of them will actually be active or not. We did have a bit of a server fluctuation. At the end of Season 1 of the Mercury Cougars, we are at where we were in terms of the size of our server. Because right now, our server, I can see real quick. I just want to get an idea of how many people are actually in the server. I cannot find it. Actually, no, let me just look on my phone. Because I think it's easier for me to see how many people are in the server in my phone. I believe we're at 145 members. Yes, okay. So, as of today, we're currently at 145 members on the Discord. That is pretty much where we were at the end of the summer for Mercury Cougar Season 1. At the end of Season 1, we were at about this number. We dropped all the way to almost 120 members by the time we hit December. So we did drop in size. Now we've slowly built that back up to 145 members. So from here forward, we obviously want to keep growing. The next goal right now is 150 plus. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to emphasize two things. One, the two main styles of racing that we want to have all year round. We want to have NASCAR racing all year round. And this is XRS's plan going forward. Every season of the year, so spring, summer, fall, winter, each season of the year, we will have a NASCAR series running. Me and Cart have been talking on, okay, if Forza is able to add a car that is pretty much a stock car, pretty much a NASCAR Cup car, we will make that our Cup Series. 100% guarantee. If they add the old NASCAR stock cars that were in the old game in FM7, or if they add, like, let's say a Gen 4 stock car from like 2000, whatever, early 2000s, if they add that type of stock car, we will automatically push to make that our Cup Series car. And then the Cutlass Championship that we run, that will become its own series. It will become separate from the Cup Series. Okay, the first season that we ran of Cutlass, which was technically season 12 of the Cup Series in a way, by doing that, we will separate the two series once we actually have a Cup Series. For the Cutlass Championship, as of right now, that is our Cup Series. So if we don't get a car that can work as our Cup Series, Cutlass will act as our Cup Series car. Mercury will always remain the car on my screen right now, the Mercury Cougar. This car will always be seen as our Xfinity Series. We're just looking for that tertiary or third series. We're looking for that third string series right now, because we want to run at least 3 permanent NASCAR series, and then 1 series we run as experimental until we find a good permanent fourth. Over the summer, as of right now, we have no series planned other than the World Endurance Cup, and that is because we want to give Forza a chance. We want to give Turn 10 a chance. We want to give them a chance to add a stock car by summer, if I can get my words out. The latest we will give them is the June update for this game, because in June we will still be running the last few races of the Mercury Cup. So by the time we hit June and the June update drops, if there is no stock car, then we will more than likely bring Cutlass up from the fall time slot that we currently have it in, and we will move Cutlass to the summer. And then we will give Forza even more time up until most likely the September update to then give us a series for October, November, December time frame. As of right now, some cars that me and Cart have been looking into, we have actually been considering an IROC series, because that car is in the game. But if we do run IROC, then it would be a drafting heavy schedule. If a lot of people thought that our Mercury Cup schedule this year, our Cougar Cup schedule, was oval heavy, an IROC schedule that we would make, me and Cart have already talked about a mock schedule for IROC, it would be practically almost all ovals. We would maybe run 1 road course, 2 road courses, that's it. Everything else would be ovals. It would be heavy Daytona, because remember, we're trying to find a third series. Cup Series, we do have a good, when we do plan the Cup Series schedules, we do have a good balance of road courses and ovals, because it's meant to be the more challenging of the 3 series. Mercury's, it's more oval based rather than road course based, but the road courses that we run at are still the popular road courses. So we'll still run at Watkins Glen, we'll still run at Road America. It's a matter of trying to find a couple other road courses that are like, you know what, let's try running here. In a third string series that we would run, if it were, like, let's say IROC, then it would be majority ovals. It would be a lot of Daytona, it would be a lot of Homestead, it would be a lot of Eagle Rock, Indianapolis. We have 4 ovals to work with, so we can very much make an oval schedule that can just be a rotation of those 4 ovals. Then, obviously, the schedule would not be that big. The schedule would not be 16 races. It would more than likely be maybe 10 races. because that's still within our window of, hey, it's a permanent series, but it is not it's not experimental. Okay, the World Endurance Cup and the Trans Am Tour, these two series are entirely experimental. That's why they're only 6 races in length. And if we can't even get guys for 6 races in length, then we know, okay, we're probably never going to run this series again. GT, we are still working on, or at least I'm working on, I haven't presented everything to the moderators yet, working heavily on Season 4. Season 4 of GT, we don't have a time frame for right now. Earliest, it'll be ran in the summer. Once again, depending on if we do get a car that we can build a Cup Series in. Either than that, it will more than likely be ran in the fall. So when we do run GT, there's going to be more cars that we will be running in Season 4. There'll be more cars. The schedule will more than likely be the same length. It'll be about 8 to 10 races at most. And we do want to try and build that series, which is how we're going to going into the second thing. We want to emphasize that even though we're a NASCAR league all year round and we will always have a NASCAR series running, our second series that we want to run alongside our NASCAR series doesn't necessarily have to be NASCAR as well. And if anything, me and Cart want to try and avoid that. We want to try and avoid running 2 NASCAR series side by side with each other. Because that second series we really want to use as an opportunity to bring in some more drivers of that different statuary in the league. We do want to try and bring in more GT guys. We have been looking at a touring car series because touring cars are seen as one of the most balanced cars in the game right now. The way that we're thinking about implementing it, we're not going to do a standalone touring car series right away. What we will more than likely do for the World Endurance Cup that's going to be ran in the summer, that 6-race schedule that will be ran in the summer for the World Endurance Cup, it'll be 2 classes. The top class is going to be GTP, which is also LMP1s and stuff like that. So the hypercar, whatever you want to call the class, depending on if you watch IMSA or WEC, it's different. But the very top class, we will have those classes. The Forza P1 class. We will have that. But then the second class, as of right now, it's going to be touring car. So then touring car will be the second class. We don't want to bring in more classes than that. Maximum we would go is 3 classes, and if we do bring in the third class, it would more than likely just be LMP2 or GT. But we don't really want to bring in GT into the multi-class racing aspect because we already have a GT Challenge. We already have the GT Standalone Series. So we'll have the GT Standalone Series, touring car as a class in the multi-class series, and then the hypercars and LMP1s as the top class in that same multi-class series. LMP2s, unless we get a lot of interest in LMP2s, we don't see that right now. We more than likely won't run that unless we run it as an experimental standalone series going further, because also the LMP2 class is fairly balanced as well. There's only 1 car in that class I think is a little too broken. I want to say it's the Orica. I want to say that's the car that's the broken one. I don't remember. But I want to say that's the car that is the most broken in the LMP2 class. But the Chevy and the Ford are really balanced with each other, and even the Mazda is not that bad. It's actually might be a hair better than the Chevy and the Ford that are in there right now. So out of those 4 cars, 3 of them are viable, the other one's not. One edit that might be changed in the Trans Am Tour, I haven't made a final decision on it yet. It's only because Tora, they also announced the Trans Am Tour, and they announced that they will be running all 4 Trans Am cars, we announced that we'll be running 3 of them. No Corvette. If Tora runs their series, obviously I expect it to be successful and top of the line. Then I will make the decision to either allow or not allow the Corvette. As of right now, I'm going to stick to what we have and not have the Corvette be allowed. What the heck? Sorry, I just got sent a random picture. As of right now, the Corvette won't be allowed because I like the mix of the 3 cars that we have. So the Cadillac, that's the one that I would think has the most body roll and it has the most agility out of the 3 cars. The Cadillac really, I don't think it has the greatest top end speed, but if you look at the schedule and you look at the tracks they were going to, top end speed is only going to help at about two tracks at most. It's going to help at Daytona Road Course. It's going to help at Road America. But other than those 2, I don't believe it's going to help at any of the other tracks. I mean, Eagle Rock on the oval, it's not going to work there. What is going on? Okay, hopefully nothing cut out from that. And just said there was a error in my party, so. But the stream never went down, so I guess that's good. So, where was I? Oh, the Cadillac, I see it as the more top end, it's not going to have that much top speed. And obviously that will help at Daytona having top end speed, and it's going to help at Road America. Watkins Glen, it might help if we're running at the full circuit, but we're running the NASCAR short circuit, so it's not going to help you there. Homestead and Eagle Rock, I don't believe it's going to help you there. And then Lime Rock, I don't think it's going to help you there either. The Challenger is the most balanced of the 3. The Mustang has the highest top-end speed out of the 3 cars. The Mustang has the highest top-end speed, so the Mustang I expect to be strong at Daytona Road Course and Road America. The Challenger is a good balance of all 3 of them. Okay, it has that decent body roll and side-to-side speed. It's very on the looser end. It's not stiff. It's not tight. Either way, all 3 of those cars are really, really easy to drive for the horsepower that they have in them. They have more horsepower than the Mercury Cougars. The Trans Am cars have more horsepower than the Cougars, and they are, in my opinion, easier to drive than the Cougars. Even with our tunes on them. Even with our spec tunes that are supposed to be a little easier to drive, but also getting a little bit more of what we want out of the car, the Trans Am cars are really easy to drive. And if it's really spec tunes that people are wanting because we don't, like a lot of the cars don't have a lot of drivers don't have a lot of tuning experience if they never needed to tune their car before. Tuning in this game is real easy to learn in about 20 minutes. And it's called watching Forza tuning guides on YouTube. The Forza tuning guides that are on YouTube for this game, there is one video, and if drivers want, let me know. I will post a tuning video that I watched and learned a lot from it. There was a tuning video that went over literally what everything does, one by one, step by step. And after watching that video, I believe it took me about maybe like 25 minutes. I don't remember the length of the YouTube video. But I knew it was over 20 minutes. Taking the time just to watch that one video drastically improved my tuning knowledge for this game and improved the way that I adjusted my car for series such as the GT challenge that we ran. After I watched that video, I got a better idea of what I needed to adjust, because for the GT challenge, I just grabbed tunes off the public market, the public tunes that are posted. I never went and got tunes or tuned my own car. So it's very easy to do. I can post the video in general chat or in the Trans Am chat just as a hey, if you really are not confident and don't want to run the series because you don't want to tune your own car, watch this series if you want to make that effort to try and tune your car. If not, I'll literally share the tune that I'm running each week. And then you guys can run the same tune that I'm running if you're running the same car as me. The other cars, I mean, I could either make a basic tune for them that it's not meant to be the greatest, but it'll get you by. Whatever it is, because I do want to have a lot of people try to run the Trans Am Tour, just so then we can get an idea of can the racing be good in the Trans Am cars? Should we run a Trans Am Tour series again? Anything in that aspect. If we're able to get a lot of people to show up, at least the first 2 races. If you lose interest after the second race, that is completely up to you. I will continue to try and recruit drivers to run that series. But in reality, I would like to see a lot of people at least run the first 2 races. If we can get that, then we have a better idea of if we want to run Trans Am again in the future, what's a better way to go about it, if there's a better way to go about it, and are we just not hitting the right marketplace for what we have right now. So, Trans Am Tour, we definitely would like to run it, maybe not as a permanent series, but as a series that we bring back every 2-3 series that we run. To where it's like, okay, like we bring back the Trans Am Tour after we tried 3 other experimental series. We bring it back for another season, see what we can do on it. And that's essentially what we're going to try and do moving forward, and it makes our job simpler. It makes the driver's jobs simpler of understanding what we will be running, rather than running 3 series all year round. We're going to be running one type of series all year round, and the second type of series try to grow our server in a more community aspect way. To we're more than likely are probably going to go through a Discord server change at the end of the Mercury season. The changes that we plan on making as of right now to the server, we're probably going to combine the media and the general chats together. And we want to try and make a community aspect to the server. So we want to create a spot to where you guys can share your tunes that you guys have made, share your time trial laps that you've been running, your rivals times and stuff like that. We want to create a more community aspect of it, creating class builds for each class in the game, to where it's like, hey, I ran this series in this car, or I did some time trial events in this car, built it up to this class at this PI, and this is what I was able to do with it. If you guys want to go ahead and run it, by all means, go ahead, try it, see how we can do it. We have been looking at other Discord servers as reference to see, okay, how's it working? How's it working for them? And what aspects could we try to be like, okay, like this actually seems like something that's pretty nice and pretty good aesthetic for what we can look for. The biggest thing is the Forzaverse server. That server, one, is huge, the Forzaverse server, but also it's a community server. So with it being a community server, they obviously have a lot of community aspects into that server. We would love to have some of the more specifics with the class tunes and builds part of their server, just so then we can try and grow the XRS server into part of that community as well. And that's how we're going to try and go about it going forward, emphasizing the series that we run all year round, and emphasizing a little bit at a time of a community aspect. Probably in the fall is when, and the reason why we're doing this now is because in the fall, that is our time frame that we have right now to launch Team XRS. So essentially, if you're a part of RZX or if you're a part of RZM, uh, EVR, like all of these uh, uh, ASM, like these Forza, what's the correct word for them? Esports teams. So pretty much these Forza teams, SSR, all of these Forza teams. Essentially, they were all started by maybe one or two people. They started a team and they grew it from there. We want to start a team from our league. So we want to start a Team XRS, and as of right now, we're working on specifics. Obviously, we are months and about half a year away from the time window that we would launch this. But as of right now, we're looking at something where we want to be able to have drivers that go into other communities, that go into other racing leagues, and they pretty much just represent XRS. They're not in there to take over. They're not in there to, we want to squash every part of our competition. No. We want to have guys go into other servers, go into other leagues, just to run. Literally just to run as if they were a regular driver. And then their cars are completely made by us. We will follow any league's paint requirements. We will make the cars for you, and you just are then given the car and go. If need be, the reason why we then also want to work on more paint customization and then the tuning aspect, if it's open tuning. If the race is open tuned, then we also would like to work to give you then the best car. So all of these aspects we want to incorporate as a part of Team XRS, and any drivers that have any sort of interest or think that they would have any sort of interest, be sure to contact me, and I will very much keep you in mind when the time comes. I already have a couple of drivers in mind that I will reach out and ask when the time comes to, hey, will you want to be a part of this? This is what we want to do. These are our goals. And this is how we're going to go about it going forward. So it's definitely something unique, and it will be unique for the league. And it's going to be another aspect of that community aspect of the server. As of right now, nothing will immediately change, and nothing's going to gradually change until we reach the end of the current season. So have no worries on that right now. In all these aspects. I think I've rambled on enough. So that will do it for this update, the bi-weekly update. The point sheets have been posted to our social media pages, so you can go check us out. We are on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. So XRS on Xbox over on Twitter. We just posted everything there. We really want to try and be open on the Twitter, because Twitter, we are able to easily post, we're able to easily get information out, and a lot of people in the Forza community are already on Twitter. So go ahead, you can follow us there, take a look at our posts. YouTube, we want to have more subscribers on there. Recently, actually, we've had a couple of YouTube shorts actually do pretty good. I think I've finally figured out that I need to include hashtags in the titles and captions, because then obviously including our own hashtag XRS, we then start to build a hashtag that we can work on, and if other people do the hashtag XRS, then that also helps as well. But also just putting hashtag NASCAR on there, because that's the series that it is. It's NASCAR. So by putting that, we've gotten a couple hundred views on every short YouTube short that we've posted that has that in the title. So, and the only way that we are able to get those clips is if our drivers, whether if you're a driver watching this or a viewer, if our drivers then post in our Discord little clips that they gathered from the race, that is how we are able to get these YouTube shorts posted. And we are able to really build an aspect. So there really will be a, you can say, group effort, team effort. So we would love to work on that more. So all of those pages you can go hit us up on. And if you're watching here on Twitch, go ahead if you're subscribed, if you're not subscribed already. And I believe that will do it for this bi-weekly update. I will see you at the conclusion of the following 2 races. So maybe not necessarily 2 weeks from now, but at the conclusion of the following 2 races.